Hi there, Jamie Keat here today at Teachers Tech. Hope you're having a great day today. Today I want to show you how to use Filmora 10. Now I've showed you other videos how to use Filmora 9 and how easy it is to make a great looking video. Now Filmora 10 has added more features and is just as easy to use. Now remember, this is not a free program. I'll put the link so you can download it for free and test it out. But if you want the full features, no watermark, you will need to purchase it. And just to let you know, if you do purchase it, that is an affiliate link that I'm placing down below in the description. If you're looking for something specific in this video, jump down below in the description and you'll also see everything timestamped so you can jump around to different parts to find how to do something specific in Filmora 10. Now this is a beginner's video. I'll have more videos coming out breaking down some of the new features in Filmora 10, so keep posted on those. But let's get started today on Teachers Tech. I have my Filmora 10 open here. If you're opening yours for the first time, what you're going to see is a window pops up and asking you, do you want to create a new project or open a project or your library? I've turned that off of mine so it doesn't open each time, but I can still get to all those if I go up to File up top here and you can see new projects. So let's say if I was going to create an Instagram video and I wanted that square type of video, I could select it and it will make sure it will put everything correctly before it starts. So when I put the videos in, I'll be working with the correct settings. Now I could open my previous projects from here also. What I do first is like to bring in my media into my media projects here. So you can see the media project and I'm just under media up top. So by media, what I mean is the videos, the pictures, the audio, whether it be music or somebody talking. So I need to bring that into Filmora 10 and it's going to be arranged in here. Now it's quite easy to do this. I can just click, so maybe there's a certain file. What I can do is I have a folder with some media in here. There's music, there's audio, or there's pictures and videos in here. So I could grab one. I'll just grab this bottom one and I hit open and it brings it in. And I can see it's a video because that little icon in here. So if I go ahead though and double click on this one, it will give me a preview of what's happening in here. I haven't started editing or anything. It's just previewing this clip. So I could go back and import more now. So up now I'm just clicking up here and you can see it's going to get me to the same things. I can import media files. I could bring in multiple ones. So I could hold shift down and grab 3 at a time. And I could do the same thing with any of the type of the files and bring them in. Now this time I had a video, this from the first time that I brought in. Now these are images because you can see how the icon changed. I'm going to go back again this time and I'll just bring in now just one audio file. And you can see again, that's changed also. I'm going to delete these because if maybe you didn't want these in, you can select them all and delete, or you can delete one at a time. I'm going to delete these here just like this and they'll be gone. So if you don't want them there, you can delete them. You can import a whole folder. So I have the folder with all my media in it. So if I import a media folder, and this is on my desktop, I have a folder that I brought in the videos and put this in. So whether or not you were taking it from your phone or wherever and brought it to your computer, you can see I just have them on a folder and I'm going to bring it in and they all come in once like this. Now I have some options how I want to see this. I can go up here and click and go to view options. So I can view this in a list view. And this will show me without the thumbnails and everything, but it gives me the icon still. I could go through and just go, you can see the different thumbnails. I'll just hit a middle one, but we have different options. We can sort by name, by duration, by type. And if you get a lot of media in, this is handy because maybe you wanted something by the newest one. If I was hitting date created, in the ascending order, I could go ahead and create it and it puts that in there. So that is a good feature when you're dealing with a lot of different files that you could be bringing in. So you can go through and sort, I'm going to go back just to none here and just leave it like that. So that's bringing the media in. We haven't started editing or anything like that, but we have our media in Filmora 10 now, and we can start to think about bringing it down into our timeline to start creating our video. Bringing this media up here down into your timeline is where the magic happens. It's where you create your video. So to do this, if I just hover over this first one, you notice are any of these, you get a plus that shows up. If I click the plus, like so, it goes into the timeline. But notice it just put it right in the middle, like not at the very beginning. That's because my playhead was in that spot. So with this playhead, if I go ahead and bring it over here, and if I clicked another one, that's where it's going to go. So if you're wondering why it's not going in the right place, if your playhead and this red right here that you pulled back and forth over top your videos, it will go where that is selected. You can get rid of these videos too. So if I just hit delete, they'll go away. My playhead's at the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some of this media again. So I'll click, I'll add this is a video. I can drag my playhead back to watch it. I can hit play up top here in the now I'm seeing the start of the video that I'm creating here. I can stop it at this point. Now you can also just drag down your media. So what I mean by that, if I go over to this one and just drag it into next to it, now I have two videos, and I've started, I have, if I move my playhead to over here, you can see that the length of this, how long it's starting to be just by looking at the timeline. And I can drag this playhead as quick or as slow as I want to see kind of frame by frame. Now the other thing I can do, I can zoom up on these frames here. So if I go over here, I can drag this, and notice as these clips get larger, there's nothing being affected in how they'll play. But what it allows me to do is zoom up. And now when I move my playhead, I can go even, it makes it easier to go by frame. And when you're editing, trying to get to a specific spot to trim or cut, that makes it easier if you zoom in and out. If I quickly click on this zoom to fit timeline, it just goes to the length of it. So if I had more clips, it will get smaller. I'm always going back and forth between these two. I'm increasing, decreasing the sizes, no matter what video editing, to see where I'm going to be trimming and to see kind of the big picture too. Now you can drag pictures down here. Like I said, some of these are images. If I drag a picture, I can put a picture into the same timeline, and if I hit play, it will go from a video to the picture like this. To drag audio down, you drag it into the audio track down below. And if you can see the waves on it to kind of show how the audio is playing. If I go ahead and hit play, now I've moved audio into here. With all these, you can drag them around into different places. You could select them more than one and move them all at once. If you have gaps, like I have gaps here between the videos and pictures, if that plays, you're going to have a black, if you notice right here. So you can get rid of those gaps by just by selecting one, putting them together. You can be moving these back over. Now the other thing I just want to show you is how you can make more tracks. Right now it doesn't look like there's any there, but if I was dragging any of these, if I drag it up one, it automatically creates a new track. So I have, with a lot of the videos I do, if you're using effects like green screen, you're going to be working in different tracks. You can be changing kind of the transparency of this. So if I was going to put one over top of the other to see through, but if I put one on top, I want to show you what will happen. Now remember, this is the video up here that people would see, that even though I have other videos in a picture here, if I hit play, you're not going to see the ones below. So if you put something over top without changing any of the transparency or the size of the scale of the top one, you're not going to see these bottom ones. But I'll talk about that a little bit more later with some of the effects in this. So you can also hit the plus up here if you wanted to create more tracks. Just like with the audio, with the video, I can drag down more audio down below. So now if I was hitting play, I actually have two audio tracks playing at the same time. It probably shouldn't sound very good if I play it. You can hear, so both get played at the same time if you're overlapping them. It's not the top one that you hear, like how the pictures dominate if they're on the top. So that's just a little bit about some of the bringing the media into the timeline, but now we'll get into more of the specifics of trimming and editing this so we can start to put together our videos. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do some basic editing now. I'm going to put one of these clips down into my timeline. I'll just hit the plus and it goes to the beginning. One other thing I want to show you before that, if I added a couple clips here, so I got a couple clips, pay attention, there's a bar down here I can drag. So if I wanted to move over, you can see how I can adjust this to get to different parts here. So I have two different clips. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller so you can see them here. And I wanted to do some trimming of these. Now there's three different ways I can be doing some trimming. If I click this first clip, what I can be doing, if I hover over the end here, I can click and hold and you can see where I get start time and duration. Now I can, I'm holding on my mouse and then I'm dragging over. So I'm changing the duration. I'm cutting off the beginning. I can also do that at the end, so I can drag this way just like that, so I have a lot shorter clip on it. So I brought it down by cutting by trimming the ends off of it. But don't worry, you haven't changed the original file up here. In fact, you can put it back. If you decided you didn't want that much off, you can actually drag it back to the original one. You can always do that with all your clips. Even after trimming, you can drag it back because you haven't changed the original file on it. Now, the other way you can make a change to it, if I bring this, my playhead over, I'll bring it over this clip. And let's say I wanted to clip something out of the middle of this one. If I look, and I'll be using this bar over here quite a bit, and you can see these scissors right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on those scissors. And notice what just happened. It put a line right here. So let's say there's a chunk. So maybe I could grab this and even change the order here, and I could bring this over and move it to a different track. So I've just taken the first half or the last half and made it the first half. There's also the undo here. So if you didn't want what you did, you can also undo that way to go back previous steps. And there's the redo if you want to go forward again. Now let's say if I wanted to click again. Now I just click on this red here. Since I already had the scissors selected before, then I can click here and I've made a chunk. So now I have this chunk I can pull out. So maybe there's something that happens in the middle that that I don't want and I just want to put them together. I could go ahead and delete this. So I could hit delete on my keyboard or just hit delete here. And now those two have put back together. So I'll have a little bit of a jump cut if I was playing this through, even though you don't notice it very much because the dog didn't really move. And sometimes when you're editing, if you can take out that and there's not much motion, people won't realize that you made an edit at that spot. It will be hard to spot. All right, so that's some basic editing there with just the trimming of it. Like I said, it's with all different video editors. You can just trim from the end, and sometimes you'll get a razor. In this case, we have our scissors, and you just clip and take things out or move them around as you want. Now I want to show you a few more features here that you can do. I'm just going to select some of these and delete these. I'm going to bring in a picture. Now what I want to show you with when you bring in a picture, you can actually stretch out the picture for as long as you want because it's static, it's not moving. So if I drag this, I can play a picture for as long as I want. I can move it around and stretch out both ends of it if you're bringing it in, so you're not limited to any amount of time. So I'll just delete this. With a video though, if I bring this video in, notice if I try to grab the ends and drag, well, it doesn't stretch longer because you can't create more video than what's there. So you can't, I can trim it and take some off, but I can't pull it longer. What I can do is change the duration of it. And what I mean by that is change how fast or how slow it plays. So if on this clip, I go up to this right here, this speed, and click on this one, you can see there's custom speed, slow. I could slow it down. I could make it faster, normal, freeze frame on this one if I wanted to pull that. But let's say if I make this 8 times faster, notice that the clip got a lot smaller. I didn't cut anything out of it. If I hit play, it just is moving a lot faster, so the clip is smaller. Now, if I undo this and go back to my speed again, and you could go custom speed here, and you can change on this, and you can see if I increase the speed a lot, it's going to go faster. If I go the other way, it's going to be a lot longer, like this. So now this dog, I'd be adding almost like a slow motion to this. You can see how it moves. So you can go through and get your custom speeds on it. So remember, you can't create more video than there, but you can change the duration by using this, and Filmora 10 makes it super easy to do that just by how I showed. I'm just going to delete this. The next thing what I want to show is I'm going to bring in another video, and I'm just going to bring in this one here. And this is the cropping tool, because this allows you to zoom up on a certain part. So maybe on this one, it goes to the video and I'm going to zoom up, and I just want to actually, I'm going to move it to here, and now I'm going to crop right to here. I'll just hit OK. So now you can see how it just zoomed in on the dog. So if I move, if I play it now, that's a much closer look on it. So if I go back, I can go back, and that was the cropping tool here. Open it up, you can see what section it was on here. Then I'm zooming up on it. So I could go even more if you want, and I could put it right here, hit OK. And then it's even zoomed in more. But remember, you might get things pixelated depending on the quality that you have in here if you're zooming up too much. But if you hit play, I have that much closer view. So if you want to zoom up on something, use that cropping tool to zoom up. Again, Filmora 10 makes it incredibly easy by using that effect of the cropping. So I'm going to drag down this video here. I took this on my iPhone, and I'm going to drag it down. I'm going to put it into the video track. Notice when I bring this in, it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to match to media, or do you want to keep project settings? Because the frame rate is different on what I took on my iPhone. It was at 30 frames per second, and then this one's at 25. I'm going to keep it to my project settings on this. Now, what's different with this video than the other ones, these had no audio in it, and you can tell right away, I can see right here that this line indicates that there's audio in here, and it was just me talking, not very much. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it very well.
Hey, Cooper, Cooper.
It's very quiet. But let's say I didn't want that audio in there, if I wanted to take it right out. But notice if I try to drag it around, they come together. If I right click on this, I get all these other options. Remember, you can right click, whether it be an audio track and video track. You have all these different things that you can quickly get to, just like I've already showed you with the toolbar down here with the speed. You can also access it here, and you can see from adding a freeze frame to adjusting audio, crop and zoom, all these things. Or if you right click, you'll quickly get to it. But what I wanted to show you here was the detach audio. So if I go ahead and click detach audio, now it becomes 2 separate tracks. So I have my video here, and I have my audio. I can delete my audio, or I could keep my audio and delete my video. So I could just go ahead and delete it, and I'm left with just the video on it. So with audio, and let's talk a little bit about audio. I've showed you all the ways you can trim with audio, trim video. But if I go ahead and drag a an audio track in right here and play it, you can hear it start up right here. I can trim the same way that I showed you with the video. I could go to the end, drag it like so, and I've shortened it. I can bring my playhead to a certain part and just click it and cut it. So I got a whole piece right here. I could drag it down into more audio tracks. I could overlap it, and I can delete it. I can drag from the end like I showed you before. Remember, when you have this, even though I cut it, I can drag things back because I haven't destroyed the original file on this. Now, if I go up here, this is your mixer. So if I had a bunch of different audio and video in different video tracks and audio tracks, I open this up, And you'll see that here's video 1, and I don't have any audio in video 1 and video 2, but I have this audio 1 track here. I could control each track separately, how loud I want to have each one, or I could have the master here too to be controlling everything down to bring it all down if I wanted it much quieter, and that would affect everything. So that's your mixer if you want to make some adjustments there. The other thing you can do, if I drag this line, you can see I could increase the volume levels, the gain of it, just by dragging this up here. Another way to adjust, and this will work on videos to adjust videos, and I'll get to that in a moment, but if I go ahead and double click on this one, you can get some quick effects like fade in, fade out, and I'll show you. If I drag, I'll just play this real quickly. So we have music playing. Now watch the beginning here. If I drag this fade in, you'll see that it's going to be started quieter and gain through there. So if I hit play now, it gives that nice transition into the beginning, and I can fade it out. And if you watch the other end, I have now a fade out over here. So very quickly, you can go through and work with the pitch. You can denoise the background noise and ducking through this. Just by double clicking on this, you get to those effects. So the other thing with audio, I just wanted to point out with Filmora here, if I go up to audio here, you do have these different audio that you can bring in right from Filmora, and depends on what subscription you're buying and everything. But let's say if I was going to drag it down, you'll notice if I drag it down into audio, what happens is it's going to just do a quick download because it's not on my computer yet. I'll just delete this one here. Whoops, I'm just going to undo that one, or Control Z. You can see if I just go ahead and delete this one, now I have, wasn't really sure what audio I was picking there, but there are all these different audios right in Filmora 10 that you can bring right down. It downloads, makes it really easy to access it. With a lot of the features too, you can always get more different effects added to it after the original purchase too. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do transitions in Filmora 10 again. This is an incredibly easy process. So I'm going to drag down some videos into my video track here, and I'm just going to shorten them up a bit because they don't need to be very long for this example here. So I'll just bring them in. I'm also going to bring in pictures here too. So here's a picture right here. One thing I wanted to point it out, so if I go over this, notice that there's black bars on the side of here. And videos, this can happen if you're not in the right dimensions. You can quickly fix this. If I right click, look for things like crop to fit or to fit, and then you can just fix it so it fills the screen on it too. So just to know, if you get those black bars, you can quickly fix those. I'm going to add in one more video here. I'll just go to this one here. So I got a series of videos in here. So I'll just bring this back. Okay, so now what I want to do is add transitions on it. So I'm just going to drag my playhead over here, and I'm going to click on transitions, and I have all these different transitions through here, and all I need to do is just drag it down. So watch now as I hit play, I get that nice transition from one to another. Now I'm going to zoom up a bit so you can see it a bit better. You can just drag. I'm going to drag another transition down here. I'll hit play. And you can see that was the transition. It was a zoom one. I'll just bring one more down here, and I hit play. And we go through. So very easy to add them. If I double click on these transitions, you can see if it's an overlap, prefix, postfix, you can change how you want. Do you want to apply to all? And we have duration. Sometimes you want the transition longer or shorter, and you can change it in there. So remember to double click on it. If I go ahead and click on the transition and hit delete, I can delete them out. So either on my keyboard or hit the garbage can, I can remove them. But remember, you can add these transitions between pictures and video, or pictures and pictures, very easily by dragging them down and then making the changes to them just by double clicking on them. If you're looking to add titles to your video, again, Filmora makes this simple. Everything's just dragging down. I already have some videos in here. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the titles. And just like the music, you can see there'll be some download, and there's always more you can purchase of it. And again, depending on your subscription. But you can see as I scroll down, there's different ones. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this down. Now, I'm dragging this down over on top of it because you can see it's transparent, it's see-through. So if I drag my playhead back, you can see around this. So if I go ahead, I can adjust this. Do I want this at the beginning, like so? And I haven't made any changes to the title or anything, but it gives you an idea of how it looks, and it's animating like this. So it's just a simple drag and drop. Double click on it, you're going to get to more features on how you can customize it on it. So from the font in here, this is my title here. So if I was all about dogs, we'll put in quickly adjusting it where I can change the font size, the fonts through here if I wanted a different one. Quickly adjust it. There's the font color. If I wanted something else, I'll just quickly change it, something that can be seen. Just like that. Again, there's different presets, animation of how we want things to move on it, but it's quickly you can customize this to the way you want and move it over, and you can add more than one. So maybe again, if you wanted something at the very beginning, I can take this, drag it over, and drag this down into this track here, and maybe this is my title one, and I put this over. You can see how quickly everything is to drag it around on it, and now I can go through and make any changes to this one on it just by looking through all the different settings. You can see even from transform when you can change the size of different items on it. So go through and you can play with these settings. Remember, it's just drag and drop on top of it. If you see it see through, it's transparent on it when I'll hit OK. So any of these are transparent like this because it's see-through, and you can place it on top of the layer. Let's get to some of the more of the fun stuff with some of the effects that you can easily do. I'm going to bring some video in, and I'll bring in two videos here. I'm going to bring two on top of the other here. So I got these two different videos. And what I want to show you here was, earlier on I talked about how that if you put the one on the top, you can't see the one down below. Watch what happens. So if I double click on this, and remember I double clicked on the audio to get to more things too. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to double click on it one more time. I want to go up to transform here. So transform, and I'm going to change the scale. So look at this. As I bring this down, I can then move this to another one, and I have like picture in picture happening here. So I can do this again. I'm going to bring in another, I could bring in a picture if you want, but I'm going to bring in this video on top. So now it covers everything up. But now if I go double click on it, and I'm still under transform and scale this down, I have another video. So I have all these videos that will be playing at the same time. So if I hit play on this, 3 different videos.
Hey Cooper.
Are playing at the same time, and very easy by transforming the top ones to see through in the back one. Now, the other thing, I'm just going to undo a few of these. So remember, you can undo to reverse the different ones. If I was taking this one and I go back, double click on it, and I just wanted to point out some of the other effects that you can do through here. If I drop down, you can see here is the how transparent it's going to be. So if I start to drag this through, now I can see through this first one and watch the other ones behind it. So you can play with these effects between picture in picture, or changing the opacity or the opacity or the how transparent it is very, very quickly. Now, the next effect I want to show you was green screen. Again, it's just a couple clicks, and I'm just going to get rid of these two here. When you're working with green screen, you need a background. And then, so I'm going to put this on top. Again, I'll just use these two videos. I have these chickens on a on the green background, and then I have the dog. So I want to be able to put these chickens with the dog. And what I do, they actually have the quick access to the green screen here. But remember, I can right click and get to it here. It'll get me to the same thing. But I'll just click on it, and right away it makes some adjustments to it so I can kind of see through it, but it's not quite right. The greens are a little different. So what I'm going to do here is just click on the eyedropper and go through and click on the green that it came with, and it makes it a little bit better. So if I have these chickens, they're in front of the dog here, and I might go through and change the offset to make it a little better, or maybe the tolerance of it, and you go through. If it doesn't look quite right, you can try to adjust these. Remember, anytime you make any adjustments, any of these, if you hit this, these are resets that put it back to normal. I can go now back to this one too. I can go up and transform, and I can scale these chickens smaller, making sure you have the right layer selected. If I make them smaller on it, I can click on them and move them around too. So you can really have a lot of fun with green screen and some of these effects inside Filmora just by quickly right clicking or accessing these here, or the double click on top. Now there's more effects and elements up here too. So if you look at it, these are just like all the other ones here. I'm just going to delete the chicken ones here. And if I bring any of these on, these are just drag and drop effects if I wanted to change. So I drag it on, you can see how it quickly changes any of these. And some of these will have to download on it. I'll just go through a few of these here. But if I undo, I can go through and I'll drop a different one. Let's try this one. And you can see how quickly it makes those changes to it, just like that. Again, double click and you'll be able to see other ones. Video effects will be there. So I added that one video effect, and if I go down, I can make some changes even to it. I can turn it off just like that, reset it back to how it was before, because now it'll be on it. So remember, double click, and I'm just going to hit OK. And remember, these are all just about dragging down and dropping. There's also the elements that you can put on these too. So with the elements are just things you can drag down. You can see some of the Halloweens coming up. But with any of these elements, when you have access, you can put them over top and they'll download, and then they're transparent. As they go through, you have them on. And remember, double click and then transform, and you can scale them down. You can put them on a different place of the video. They just don't have to be where you place them. You can move them around to adjust. You can even grab the handles like this. So you can have a lot of fun with these. You have a lot of different elements that you can go through right through here. So one of the last things what I want to show you, which is a great thing, is the split screen. This has to be the easiest program for split screen, and let me show you how to do this. I'm going to go to my media and just drag in a piece to start with, and I'll just shorten this up to show you can blend this in. I wouldn't need video to start with, but I just wanted to point out, if I go to the split screen, and let's say I'm going to take this one where it says 1, 2, 3, it's going to have 3 videos, and or I can put pictures, and I drag it down. Now one video is going to go here, here, and here. Well, I can just drag the video into those spots. So I just click and drag it into a spot. I can go over, I can even take a picture and drag it in here like so, and then I can adjust. You can see how you can adjust. You could turn off any volume in it, you can delete it, or make some adjustments in it too. So let's make, I'm just going to move this over so it's a little bit more centered on some of them, just like this. So now I have a video going from one video to this next video, just like that. And that's how easy it is to add split screen. You can actually even add transitions between these two. So if I wanted to add a transition, I bring my playhead back, I can hit play, and it will just add that transition in before the split screen starts. So it's super easy to do. So the last step I want to show you is how to export your video when it's all done, because you've just been editing it and it's not good to put on YouTube or anything yet, because you actually have to export into a final product that puts all your edits and audio and changes all together into one file. So let's say your video is done and you're ready to export it out to YouTube. And we have this little video here and it has some titles and some music and different things and it's all done. What I want to do is to hit export up top, right? So there's a lot of different files you can export it out as. So if I hit export here and you get this. Now notice that there's local and device, meaning is it going to be a phone or iPad, because it will change what the settings need to be when it exports it out. You can go right to YouTube. So I've used this feature in different video editing products. You sign in and it will actually upload it straight to YouTube from here, but you need to sign in here and it will connect to your channel. So it kind of eliminates some steps here. You would just go through, fill this out and hit export. But you can go local too on this one. So if you go local, you can see all the different file types. You would just give it a name here. So if I was calling this dogs, save it to where I could open this up if I wanted to a specific place and go through. But you can see all the different ones here. So you can go from MP4 to a GIF down here, or maybe you just want the audio as an MP3. So you could choose what you want and where you want it to be saved. And you can always go into the settings to open it up depending on what quality you want. And after that, you just hit export and it's that easy. You'll have your file either directly put to YouTube or you have it on a file on your computer. So I hope you liked this tutorial here today. I went over a lot of the things that Filmora 10 can do, but there's still a lot more it can do, and I still will put more videos about how to do different things like motion tracking and some color effects too. Let me know if this has helped you out. Take it, you know what, this is one I would recommend to try. It's always worked well and simple for some editing that you can produce some great looking videos. Thanks for watching this time on Teacher's Tech. I'll see you next week with more tech tips and tutorials.